You have a couple of forms here, we're gonna give you 5 minutes total. I don't know what you're doing with a couple of forms, but 5 minutes per speaker.
All right, well, just so you know, the one I want to talk about my own stuff, and the other one I'm gonna have Frank Sorick.
Well, Mr. Sorick can speak if he wants, and he can fill out a form.
Well, no, we just let 3 gentlemen come up. Now, hold my time.
They have 5 minutes altogether, you have 5 minutes now.
Okay, but I want to talk about one issue, and then Frank's gonna come up and we're gonna talk about
You
something.
certainly can come up and talk about.
All right, so I'm gonna get 5 minutes on my one, 5 minutes on my
No, you're getting 5 minutes.
All right, now hold on a second. The one form is for me to talk about my stuff.
Yeah, you're not, you can fill out 6 of them if you want, but you're getting 5 minutes.
Now, I'm gonna warn you about something.
I don't
Now,
want
I'm doing this in a nice way, okay? I'm not trying to be smart. You notice I've been trying to conduct myself the best I could the last few meetings. Now, one is gonna be for the Independent Gazette, and then the other one is for this. My work that's gonna be done with Independent Gazette is separate from this. So, check what the ACLU said. There's no reason why. I mean, we're not packed here. There's no reason why I can't address 2 issues. What we're gonna do is just window something I'm gonna be working with the Independent Gazette.
Boss, you can address 10 issues, we have 5 minutes.
All right, well, I'm gonna do 5 minutes on this one, and then I'm gonna do 5 minutes on that, and not gonna remove me from the building, because it's not fair.
Mr. Sorick, you can fill out a form as well.
Okay.
They're not being fair to me, Bill.
No.
I'm just telling you. Bob Kadluboski, members of council, Mr. Wilkes-Barre. As you know, this towing situation, I've been getting calls, I'm sitting dignitary in the city here, but have you done anything? Have you looked at any of the, like I requested that you get the letters that I sent you years ago to look what happened? And Mr. Wilkes-Barre, I'm not trying to be personal with you, but do you realize what this has done? How it's besmirched the police department, turned them into a bunch of racketeers. And now, I don't blame Leo Galazic, and I don't blame Falzones. Have you seen the prices? What's happening here? Some of these prices are up hundreds of %. I mean, how do we account for that? I mean, what could we do? I mean, how could this council just sit here? Mr. Brown, Mr. Merrick, you, Mrs. Lavelle, you, Bill, what are we doing about it? I mean, have you checked any of the receipts? I'm getting people calling me, how much is it costing? I mean, this is exactly what I said it would be. It's a ripoff. And it's not Falzone. I mean, look at our Leo. Our Leo we're firing because he's charged for victims of crime and stolen cars. Falzone, yes, and here we go, our Leo's getting fired. It's like, how are we doing this? I mean, Bill, have you ever taken time to sit and see what happened? Exactly when I warned you, and I believe Tim got the letters too. Look what happened. How is this fair that you let a contractor charge what you want? He comes down with a stack of services that he offers, and unfortunately, if San Troy gets towed in, where he used to pay 70 or 75, now he could get charged up to $900, $1,000, $800, $500, $600. How is that fair? I mean, are you proud of what this has done? I mean, look what the police department, the chaos that it's caused. And more importantly, what I said, I'm right. I'm right. This is a ripoff on the poor people and the insurance companies. I want to know, Mr. What he's going to do about this, Mr. Vensko. You're the architect of this. And I want to ask the council, will you please answer me? Did you do what I asked? Did you go and get the letters from all those years ago? Did you take the time to study these receipts? The expense that it's cost? See, you have to understand, you should do what you want with me. Because I'm only one person. But if this is a private corporation, you people would be fired for what has it done. Now, I'm going to finish on that. Now, when could I get my 5 minutes for the...
Are you done with that? Because I have some comments to make.
Yeah. Done with everything.
I've been reviewing the contract, I've been reviewing the bills, and he's charging as much as LAZ towing. But as long as this contract's in effect, he's gonna keep doing so. And that's why I've been trying to terminate this contract for 2 years, and I haven't gotten anywhere. But they're saying the arbitrations is gonna come in, I don't know, you said you don't have a date yet.
We were hoping
October 21st. And then if that contract's terminated, there'll be a new contract, and I think that goes in front of council to approve. No, because I don't think there should be one flat rate, $150, $175, no wrenching fees, $125, cleanup $75, leaving the car out of the gate $75, $50 for cleanup. That should all be done. It should be one price, $150. If he doesn't want to take it, don't put it on the contract. That's how I feel the contract should be. And if we get nothing for the contract, fine. Services we shouldn't be paid for services. That's a service for us to clean up the streets. It's a public safety issue, and we should just do that. Not worry about making a buck on it. I think if cars sold for $150, that's all the total get. And if we impounded them ourselves, you know, they can forget about the impound fees. We can charge the impound fees, because we got a lot on Cunningham Street. It's big enough to impound all those vehicles. We got the fire and police department to check on them too. They work 24 hours a day. That's my, you know, that's what my plan will be.
You know, and I'm just gonna say one thing on this. Council can legislate certain things, and we had a towing ordinance that's been suspended for quite some time. You were the biggest vocal critic about regulating fees and rates of anybody. That we tried to establish maximum rates, not establish fees, but maximum rates for fees that could be charged for towing vehicles. So you stand here, ironically, and ask us what we're going to do about it, but you stood here screaming because we were trying to put you out of business. We weren't trying to put you out of business. The only thing we can do is set maximum rates by law. That's it. It's kind of what Mr. George is speaking about there. We can do that, but we cannot regulate what a private person does outside of that. And we tried to do that, and ironically, it was you.
All right, but Mr. President,
I'm not gonna go back and forth.
you have to let me answer. You have to understand something. I came to you, I came to several other council members, and told them what was going on.
And that's how we responded.
But
to
Bill,
proposing.
Bill, let me ask you something. How am I supposed to run my business? I was charging in 1975, $75. Here we are 20-some years later, I was up to $150. So you came in 2010 and said, Bob, you're not going to charge $150. You're going to charge $100.
Well, the only thing.
All right, hold on now. You're interrupting me now. I was nice to you.
No,
Now let me
we've
finish.
certainly gone well beyond your time, we've been doing more than. The only thing I'm gonna say is, and this was alluded to, is this is in litigation right now. So I don't feel it's appropriate that we further discuss when this contract is ending, or what the new contract is going to be, or anything in the interim right now, until this contract is either dissolved or otherwise. So we're gonna leave it at
All
that.
right, let me finish now.
Finish
And Bill, when you put that ordinance into effect, you basically put me out of business, because guess what? I couldn't work. The thing was, I couldn't work.
Okay.
And that's what I told you. If you do this, I will legally come after you, and
You
you would have
did.
lost.
So that's the other. Thanks,
All
Bob.
right, well, I'm gonna
Thanks.
talk now about,
No.
Frank, could you come up here? Come on.
Bob, you're done.
No, we're gonna talk about the Independent Gazette now.
Mr. Frank Sorick is speaking.
I'm gonna speak with him, because I'm working on
Mr.
this story.
Sorick is speaking. You can sit down there, Bob.
I wanna talk to you.
Yeah.
All right, first, Frank Sorick, Wilkes-Barre. I just have a few suggestions to this council with regard to all of the discussion about towing fees, things like that. I don't feel government should ever get involved with legislating fees of the private industry. However, when it comes to legislating the fees for a city impound lot, I think that falls directly within the control of this council. And I think council should immediately amend our ordinances to have all city contracts of this nature, or a certain dollar amount, or perhaps vendors such as the towing contract come before council. One person should not be making that decision. It should come before a discussion panel. You guys should have some input on it, but certainly setting city fees for our city impound lot, definitely within the realm of your powers. You should do that immediately. But legislating the private industry, that's like telling Mr. Vinsco what he can charge the city as the city solicitor is one thing, but what Vinsco and Associates can charge my real estate firm, something completely different. And that would be, I believe, unconstitutional due to Mr. Vinsco. But it certainly, as the city solicitor, you could set his fees. And that would be the same with our towing contractor. I think there should be a maximum fee. And if it's $500, $600, whatever it is, whatever this council feels that maximum fee is, give the towing contractor some guidelines to go by and say this far, no further, regardless of how many hours or how many days this sits here, this will be the maximum fee. I don't even know, I mean, I'm not in the towing industry, so to say that one tow should be $125, one tow should be $50, I don't know. But I do know that some of these fees are a little outrageous, and I do think that firing Leo based on a provision in his contract that says he shouldn't have charged victims of crime, and then our intern tower, who should be acting under the full authority of Leo's contract, can charge victims of crime. And then this administration not wanting to answer questions by the Independent Gazette regarding an article that we wrote. We were lied to by this administration when I asked if there was any such memo that stated that victims of crime are charged, went out to the police. I was told flat out, absolutely not, in an email, when in fact one did. I have several police officers who told me they received such a memo. So either A, your police force is lying, or your city spokesperson is lying. I'm not sure which. And in fact, I will believe the police, so I do know which.
The second thing that I'm going to be working on here with the Independent Gazette is I'll be working with Frank. What we're going to do is we're going to want to interview each individual council on video. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to get to the bottom of this pension ripoff. And the problem is this has been going on for years, where Mr. Merritt now has been here how many years? All he has to do is hit a certain amount of time and then work 4 years full-time and walk out with a full-time pension. And we have a police officer over there who has to work maybe 25 or 30 years to attain a pension. And yet you got a guy that worked part-time will be able to collect more money than our officer. And the thing that we want to look at is the formula that you people have been using. Tom Layton now will be able to do it, Kathy Kane, Bernie Mengerhausen, Tom McGrory, and Lee Namey. And Lee Namey is a perfect example of a man who worked for this city taxpayers for 12 years part-time and worked 8 years full-time, and in the end has collected hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement and health care. And what we want to do is, I'm going to be meeting with Lou, and we'll sit down with Frank, and what we'd like to do is get each member, sit down with his interview, get you on video, and try to come up with how we're going to change this. Matter of fact, I think you, Mr. Mack, you've been working on this for, I guess, almost a year. I haven't heard nothing. But basically, if we continue this pension ripoff, we're going to bankrupt the city, because we cannot, where you have people that put in just a little bit of money, are taking out the maximum. And it's basically, it's wrong, and a lot of the taxpayers are interested in that. So that's what we're going to be working on, and we'll be contacting you, and we'll sit down and get this on video and see what we're going to do about changing it, if it takes some type of ordinance, and see what we can do about it. And that's, I guess, all we got to say.
Wait, excuse me, if I can respond.
Yes, sir.
I'm speaking for myself, I don't participate in the pension plan. I don't believe Mr. Merritt nor Mrs. Lavelle do either, if that's correct.
I do, but we signed legislation and sent it in to cancel it.
Right.
The
And
huge
I gave
champion,
Mr. Sorick a copy of that legislation that you have, it was copied, to send it to each of us. We did have legislation that we would no longer be part of that, and so we're not doing it. And also, I'm not taking the $2,400 a year, and I'm going to get it.
Well, that's good. Well, just so you understand, this, we need to find out to make sure that this is officially stopped. We don't want, we just can't afford it. I mean, Lee Namey, he worked 12 years, 8 years full-time, hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement and health care. I mean, the people are outraged over this. We just want to get everything together and organize it and get it stopped officially.
Thank you.
I suggest you see Mr. Sorick.
Thank you. Thank you very much.